Hi, everyone. So, all gossipers and people who love to be entertained by clashes and arguments and fights and taking sides and high intense emotion, pay attention because you're probably going to like this. So, I just happened to be watching YouTube video this morning and I came across Grumpy Old Crone's YouTube channel. And she was talking about this woman that I never heard of before. Her name is, I guess there was a big clash of ideas and arguments between, this is what Grumpy Old Crone talked about, between, what's this lady's name? Wait a minute. Dr. Kate Thomas, and between her and this other witch. I guess Kate Thomas, by the way, is a psychiatrist, something. And she is in bunking heads with, what's her name? What's her name? Oh God, I didn't write it down because I thought I would remember it, and now I don't. Anyway, and it's the name of a city or a place in the UK. That's something, Newcastle, which wasn't Newcastle though, but it was something else. You probably know what it is. So I'm watching Grumpy Old Crone talk about this argument. And, she is like, analyzing this thing. And as soon as she said some stuff, I broke out in a sweat because I'm cringing. I'm like, how I feel. You know what my attitude is about this shit. And I'm just like fuming. So Grumpy Old Crone says, she's like saying that this Dr. Kate Thomas shouldn't be opening her mouth because, first of all, Grumpy Old Crone said that that Dr. Kate Thomas, who's also in the UK, I'm so glad she's not an American, you don't know, she earns like £90,000 a year from her, I guess her YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but she said she earns $90,000 a year. I guess it was YouTube because there's some glitch or something in the YouTube thing. I don't know what it was, and she's saying, and Grumpy Old Crone is saying that this Dr. Kate Thomas is encouraging and telling people that they should be standing up and fighting for the oppressed and doing this stuff and telling them what to do and being quite nasty about it and being quite pushy about it, while she sits home and tells these people what they should be doing. I believe she worded it somehow like, well, telling people that they should, do these things, and you, from the safety of your own home, telling them to do that seems a bit dishonest. I think it's more than dishonesty. It's hypocritical. I'm going to refer you back years. And I don't even know if any of you guys were around then, but the start of this, I won't own a deck unless there's diversity in it. Oh my God, this deck doesn't have any diverse people in it. Oh, diversity. That was originally pushed, from what I remember, by a very popular male tarot collector and reader who just recently put out a book, I'm told, which I would only buy to burn. He's claiming all this diversity, so I called him on it. And when he couldn't pin me down, or he couldn't find something on his side that was like, how do I put this? Like I was winning the debate, the argument, and he didn't like that. So he finally gave in and said to me that he doesn't feel safe Do you believe this grown man probably weighs 200 pounds? And here I am, I'm like 5'4", and I weigh like 140, and he's telling me that arguing online with him does not make him feel safe, so he left. What a fucking coward and a fucking hypocrite. You know why? Because he lives, what state did he live in? I found him. And he lives in like New Hampshire or something like that, where like 85% of the people are white, but yet he demands that there's diversity in his tarot deck because that's real life. Where in real life is that state mixed, highly mixed like that? Give me a break. And so that's what this reminds me of. And you know what? This is my point. They're all like this. All of them. And so, you know my argument with Kellyanne, right? Well, anyway, hold on a second. I'll get to that in a minute. So grumpy old crone goes on to say that it's fine to talk about doing the work, but the work has to actually, you have to work to do the work to actually support the victims of oppression and marginalization. Ugh. She also says, donate money, walk in marches, make space for people who are different. And she goes on to say, welcome people into your community. And yes, call out terrible things when you see it. She goes on to say, create a better world. And much of it involves dismantling anger and building compassion. Well, she goes, anger dismantles and compassion rebuilds. Okay, I got shit to say about that. Okay, so the first thing is, that's what they talk about, these people. Support the people of the oppressed and who are marginalized. Identify who they are. Who are they? Who? And you better watch what you say, because things are getting spinned around, and the people that are stating this are the ones that are becoming the oppressed. Then what? And what if somebody that disagrees with you politically gets oppressed or marginalized? You don't want to talk about that. I don't know. I think a rape of a 2-year-old child from an immigrant, to me, that is definitely oppression. Don't talk about that, though. See, they're selective in who they feel the oppressed and the marginalized are. That's my first point. They need to identify who the fuck they're talking about. I'm tired of this blanket statement. She says, walk in marks and marches. I know Kellyanne Maddox has done that because I've seen her. She actually wore that stupid, what do you call that, checkered kerchief thing? Oh, you know, she's all for Palestine and all that stuff. But anyway, the old crone says, make space for people who are, make space for people who are different than you. Then why aren't you doing it? Why isn't Kellyanne Maddox doing it? Why aren't you taking in some of these poorly oppressed and marginalized people? Why aren't you doing it? Welcome. Oh, this is a good one. Welcome people into your community that are different from you, because compassion rebuilds. Well, that's my first point. Who are the oppressed? Who are the marginalized? I know who they think the oppressed people are, and nobody else. They don't include other people in that. That's just immigrants. That's the oppressed people, and the people of Palestine. That's the oppressed. People in their own country can't be oppressed. No, they can't. And the marginalized? It's the alphabet community. And you know what? The alphabet community, they go around claiming, oh my God, we're losing rights. They can't name one right that they're losing. You know why? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares if a man is going to love a man. Where many people draw the line is when they force certain issues down our throat that affect us. If you want your so-called rights to be observed and respected, respect other people's boundaries. Respect got to work two ways. It's not a one-way street. That includes men and women's sports, men and women's bathrooms, locker rooms, jobs, whatever. Men got to stay the hell out. Okay? So I went to this Dr. Kate Thomas because the grumpy old crone said Dr. Kate Thomas was really angry, and she really lit into this person, Joe from wherever it is in London. So I went to one of her videos, and this woman used the word white supremacy over and over and over and over again. And you know what I have to say about that? If you're so fucking worried about people being a white supremacist, why don't you give over your job to a black person? Huh? Why not? Let them have it. Give over your flat, your apartment, I don't care. Give them your car. Give them your money if you're so fucking worried about being a white supremacist. Huh? So in other words, in my opinion, what she is saying, that everybody else should watch their P's and Q's and not be a white supremacist. But I'm not included in that because I get I am an important person. It's just elitism. That's all. That's the shit she's spouting. I saw this one video of hers and I couldn't stand her. I went to the other person's and what's her name? Joe from wherever she is in the UK. And I didn't see anything that she didn't promote hardly anything. Her big promotion was putting the gay flag on her desk or something where people could see it. That was her big, which, doesn't bother me at all. Just go for it, I don't care. But this Kate Thomas, she is a hateful, racist, she's a psychologist. She needs a fucking psychologist herself. So, these poor oppressed people, you need to tell me who they are. And although there was talk before this big movement of migrants into all these countries, sure, there were talks about black people being the oppressed and stuff like that. But I have to tell you, over the years, they have had DEI on their side. They had employers specifically hiring blacks, hiring people because they were black over people that were maybe even more qualified. They were given all of these breaks, black people, And I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch a lot of political YouTube. And many, many, many of them are black people that are telling their own people, get up off your ass and get a job and quit all this shit about everybody's racist and all this crap. Even they don't want to hear it anymore because they know it's not true. I've looked in the backgrounds of some of these videos. They have nicer homes than me. They're doing good. They're doing well. And I think that's a good thing. I'm happy for them that they have a better home than me. They have whatever better than me. That's a good sign. I take that as a good sign. So, I don't believe that blacks in this country are oppressed. I just don't believe it because, so one of the things, so I want to go on. I'm going to put I don't know where I'm going to put it. I think I'm just going to put it in the comments so people can see it. 3 videos about how I feel about all this shit. One of them is a song. One of them is a child story, I think it is. And what's the other one? Oh no, just 2. And then I want to, when people claim that black people are oppressed, how many single women, black women, are on food stamps? And I've watched many videos on food stamps. And sure, there are plenty of white people on food stamps. I think there are more white people on food stamps, or were, than black people. But per capita, there are more black people. That's my understanding. And yet, they go and have their hair done. They have their nails done. They go to the salon. They go on trips. One of them even said, I need my food stamps because me and my kids are going on trips. They don't sound oppressed to me. And so, I just don't believe it. And as far as the immigrants go, I think that the poem, that the story, and there is another video. There is okay, so there's a story, there's a song. This song was very popular in the 60s, and I loved it. I remember singing it myself because I think it's quite clever. There's a story, there's a song, which I have lyrics in it for you, and there's a video by Ty Rivera. In case you don't know who he is a comedian, and he's gay, and he talks about many subjects, but I can't believe he's a comedian because the way he speaks, he has this ability to clarify, break through the fog of, the circumstances and the ideation of what's going on, and just get down to a clear vision of really what's happening. I just love Ty Rivera. And so I have his video on there about the alphabet community, of which he is one, although the gay people, they don't like that anymore. They don't want to be part of that because of the way that the other ones behave. So there's 3 things in there that really will give you a good picture of how I view this whole thing. How the grumpy old crone says, anger dismantles and compassion rebuilds. That's not necessarily true. A lot of times compassion does not rebuild. In fact, it destroys. Remember the old story in the Bible, if you people want to know, about giving a man a fish or teaching him how to fish? Well, if you're being compassionate, you give him the fish, but what good does that fucking do him, down the road? It doesn't. And compassion should also be equally distributed, no matter who they are. So if it's somebody who you hate because they're a conservative, all that compassion goes out the window. So you're just a phony, in my opinion. So I don't like to see anybody hurt, nobody. But that's a whole other rabbit hole I'm not going down. But that's bullshit that she says anger dismantles and compassion rebuilds. Anger does not necessarily dismantle, and compassion doesn't necessarily rebuild. Your anger, my anger, everybody's anger protects them. It works as a warning sign, a flag that something is wrong. So a lot of times it is turned into something negative, but a lot of times that we don't even speak of, it does not. And it just serves as a useful tool to warn us about something. And compassion, when compassion is not used properly, it just turns into a hindrance. Because you're not really helping the person, or your compassion may lead you to help one person and hurt another. So that's bullshit. That's bullshit. So I'm going to put them down here. I hope you watch them all. They're all very good, and some of them are actually very entertaining and even kind of fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.